Alright, so in this lesson we are going to basically start with an algebraic property, like I'm going to give you an algebraic property. And you are going to make examples of it and then explain what it means. So we have these things called properties or axioms. I don't know why I typed it twice on here, but don't worry about that. This is called the additive identity property or axiom. It says that a plus 0 equals a. So, for example, 4 plus 0 equals 4. Half plus 0 equals half. Negative 3 plus 0 equals negative 3. So we look at this, we substitute it in different numbers. First we substituted 4, then half, then negative 3. So what does this mean? What does a plus 0 equals a mean? It means when you add 0, the number stays the same. Okay. Now we have the multiplicative identity or property or axiom. Or the multiplicative identity property or axiom. This is a times 1 equals a. So 4 times 1 equals 4. Negative 7 5/10 times 1 equals negative 7 5/10. This just, a times 1 equals a, just means, well, the multiplicative identity property just means that when you multiply by 1, you stay the same. When you multiply a number by 1, you stay the same. More formally, I guess the value remains unchanged, but you understand what I'm saying. So the additive inverse property. So a, I'm going to make a, so when it starts getting complicated, at least put what you're going to do. So I'm going to put 2. Like write what a or b or whatever your variable is going to be. So this means that 2 plus negative 2 equals 0. That's true. I'm going to try negative 3. So negative 3 plus, you got to be careful here. Remember, that's a negative. So it's going to be a negative 3 equals 0, which really just means negative 3 plus, when you take away negative, it's just a 3. You get 0. So what this means is if you have a number and you add the opposite version of that number, so we had 2, we add the opposite version of 2, which is negative 2, we end up with the same answer. So like even this complicated one, like I wouldn't even necessarily do that way. Like I would just do a negative 3 and plus the opposite of that. The opposite of a negative 3 is 3, and you get 0. Just that's how we end up there, like a lot faster. And so if you have a number plus its opposite is 0. Lastly, we have the multiplicative inverse axiom. So let's make a, 5. So we have 5 times 1 over 5, and it should equal, this is wrong. This should be 1. So I'm actually going to go back this should equal 1. So 5 times 1 over 5 should equal 1. And that leads me to 5 over 5, which is in fact 1. 6, let's try it with negative 6. Negative 6 times 1 over negative 6. So negative times a positive is a negative. Positive times a negative is a negative. And a negative over negative is a positive. So a number times 1 over that number gives you 1. And so what I want you to do in the activity is I want you to provide at least 2 examples. One of them can be a nice whole number, and the other one, actually, as long as you don't keep using like 1 and 0, and like don't use this, stay away from those for now, unless it tells you to, obviously, in the problem. But when you substitute in value, stay away from like 0 and 1, and just make sure you have 2 of them, and make sure you list what they are, like a equals 2 and negative 3 in the second one. Thank you.